can't tell you how many emails I get from people saying, I did a chemical peel and my skin is now got dark marks all over it. Is that normal? No, it's not normal, okay? So if you've got dark skin or if you're trying to lighten pigmentation at home with a chemical peel, girl, be careful, okay? Use a little bit of acid first, work your way up. I know you want it gone overnight, but come on, be realistic. What in life is gone overnight? And any kind of marketing BS that's out there that's saying it's gonna work in 2 minutes, gonna work in 1 minute, it's gonna work a miracle overnight, walk away, put your credit card away, walk away, especially from those places that are like at the mall and the little cubicles. I've done skincare like that, girl, and they only care about selling you something you don't need that's not gonna really work. Those things in those little cubicles often don't work, and anything that's like $300 that's being sold out of a kiosk, girl, run real quick. Well, hello, beautiful. It's Cody and Coco. Say hi, Coco. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. All right. So, hello and welcome. If you are new, thank you so much for being here. And if you love this information, please subscribe. All right, so today I am in my bathroom doing a get ready with me, and I'm going to teach you and show you how I personally brighten pigmentation, discoloration, and post-inflammation hyperpigmentation, which all kind of mean the same things, but I'll kind of go into detail a little bit more about each different type of pigmentation and how you can brighten them. I'm gonna cover a lot today in ways that you can brighten them. So if one thing doesn't really work for you, you could try or use something else. And also just share a lot about pigmentation because summer is coming up. So if you struggle with pigmentation like the way I do, and the way a lot of my clients do, I always recommend that you need to be on top of it. It's something that you have to learn to manage. It's not something that usually goes away and stays away, unfortunately. People always ask that with skincare products. They go, oh, well, you know, if I stop using this particular product, will it come back? And I always think of it like this. You brush your teeth every day and the tartar comes back, right? You know, same concept. So these things, especially if we live in a hotter climate with pigmentation, we need to just be extra mindful and be 10 steps ahead of it before it gets too dark. Because by the time it gets to the surface of the skin, usually the damage has been there for quite some time, and so usually people are a little shocked thinking, well, I didn't have this pigmentation, you know, a year ago, 5 years ago. Why is it so deep? Why is it so dark? And, you know, where is it coming from? Like, people just often think it pops up from nowhere, but really it takes a while to go up from the bottom layer, usually coming from the dermal layer all the way to the top. And then we have a top layer of a little bit of pigmentation that we can sometimes brighten with some products, but it doesn't get in deep enough or they're not strong enough. And then it comes right back if we haven't been really religious with sunscreen, or, you know, we might get a little bit of luck with something where we feel like it works for like a week or two, and then we realize it's worked as much as it can, because what happens is it kind of will take off that top layer of pigmentation, and what's below the surface of the skin is where the real damage is usually hiding and coming from. So the cause of it is much deeper. So today I'm going to be using hydroquinone, 4% hydroquinone, which is a prescription strength or amount that you need to get from your provider, whether that's a medical spa or a doctor or a prescription. So anyway, Coco is making interesting noises, so I'm not sure what she's going to do, you know, animals. So I'm just going to right now cleanse my skin. The thing I can say about pigmentation is this, is you don't want to be overzealous with it. You don't want to try to do too much too quickly. And I know I always say that, but you know, I say that from experience because I used to be the person that would do it on myself and my clients, and I still can be like that sometimes, where I have to really withhold, and I really have to be conscious, and I really have to be aware of what I'm doing with my client, with myself, and just bring more awareness to whatever I'm doing, and just to go a little bit slower so that I can make sure that I'm not trying to get too much of a result too quickly, because what you can do is get a rebound effect. So if you brighten some of the top layer and you've been too aggressive, what can happen is you can get pigment again, and you can get also post-inflammation hyperpigmentation for causing too much heat and inflammation in the skin by just using something that's too strong, or you're using it too frequently. I just want to say thank you to all of you for your continued love and support on my channel. I also want to say thank you to all of the people who purchased my home facial experience. We sold out in 2 days, which is so crazy. I, kind of thought it would sell probably by the end of Mother's Day, not like in 2 days. So I really was shocked, and I am working on some things where I can, you know, just make sure that I can handle. I mean, I really have underestimated my audience a little bit, but this was a test and a beta launch, so I'm testing it, and I'm kind of working out the little things that need to be worked out, and then I'll relaunch it in a different way. I'm not quite sure. It was a lot of work. I'm so grateful for the experience of learning how to do that. So I'm hearing some feedback already of people liking their skin, and if you are on the home facial experience now and you're loving your results so far, you're noticing something happening, which is a miracle, please put that below this video. But again, thank you guys so much, and I hope all of the mothers had a beautiful Mother's Day. I hope that you feel proud of the work that you do as a mother, feeling that you really make a difference in the world, raising incredible children, bringing those children up in just a beautiful way so that they are smart and that they are just good human beings. So thank you for the work that you do so effortlessly. You know, my partner and I, this was our first Mother's Day without difficult, you know, to be honest, and I thought a lot about my mom who passed in 1999, and it's hard to believe it's been so long. But anyway, you know, time flies so quickly, and so the best advice I could ever give anybody, you know, I love to give my advice and sit on my soapbox, but you know, if you have a resentment with someone or a parent or a mother, you know, it's like, I tell you, there's so many things that you'll wish that you would have done differently when they leave. And so I think that life is too short to hold on to those resentments, and nobody's perfect, and moms make mistakes, and my mom sure made a lot of mistakes, but she did the best that she could with what she knew how to do at the time. And you know, some people would look at what she did and how she raised me as being completely unacceptable, but I've learned to accept it, and you know, I learned to accept her as a human being first and a mother second, you know, and I think a lot of us could learn how to do that with all people. It's like, you know, we all fail, we all make mistakes, we all mess up, and that we all should be given second, third, and fourth chances, I think, because, you know, we often react out of our behavior in a state of consciousness that is just in a reaction kind of state. So, you know, often when we're triggered and pushed. So anyway, I'm getting off my soapbox now. I'm gonna get to the point of this video, which is to help show you how to brighten pigmentation, how I do it at home, and how I also maintain and manage so that I don't get a whole bunch of pigmentation during the summer. This is the time I want to teach you guys how to really be on top of it so that you really know how to handle your skin if you're struggling with pigmentation and discoloration and or post-inflammation hyperpigmentation. So I'm going to show you now, I'm going to talk a little bit about pigmentation and also post-inflammation hyperpigmentation because they're different. So pigmentation can be just a typical response of aging that occurs. It can be from not wearing sunscreen, it can be from getting a bad sunburn, it can be from, you know, all kinds of stuff, and or using a lot of acids or retinoids and not using a lot of sun protection or not reapplying your sun protection, so you'll start to get a lot of freckles or uneven skin tone. You can also get pigmentation from birth control and other kind of medications and antibiotics where you become more sensitized to the sun, more sensitive to ultraviolet light. San Diego don't wear sunscreen really religiously, and they don't reapply it religiously, which is one of the best things I can tell you is that you need to not only apply enough sunscreen on during the day, but you need to reapply that sunscreen every 90 minutes to 2 hours. And if you're out there baking in the sun, I mean, every 90 minutes, I would just do it just to be safe. So post-inflammation hyperpigmentation is usually brought on from an inflammatory response due to either like a chemical peel, being too aggressive with something, using too much acid, or some type of trauma that can occur either from a laser or microneedling, or even people who have been punched. I've noticed that they can get post-inflammation hyperpigmentation, or people I've even seen get post-inflammation hyperpigmentation from cleansing brushes because they're really, you know, going too aggressive and they're causing too much stimulation in the skin. So a lot of times there's this stimulation that's occurring which causes instant inflammation in the skin, which can trigger the melanocytes. So anyway, let's get started with showing you how to brighten pigmentation at home and to keep it at bay during the summer. And also I'm going to be showing you today some post-inflammation hyperpigmentation I'm dealing with. I've been working on it a little bit, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see much. I actually did get some injections today. I'm going to be 40 in a couple days, and so I just wanted to, you know, look good, look better. I just like to look my best, and I know what my best looks like. And for everyone else out there, you know, your best is not going to look like what they think you should look like. And so if you're feeling like doing Botox or filler or something like that, honey, just try it. Maybe just try it once. I'm not saying you need to do it or you should do it, but if you're really curious about it, it's really changed my life. I don't really do Botox much. I've done it probably 6-7 times, but filler I really, really like. It's really changed me because I get really, really, really hollow cheeks and temples, regardless of like even gaining weight or losing weight now. It just is something that's where I lose my fat, is in my face, not around my waist, only on my face. So let's get started. So I'm going to use this Hada Labo cleanser, which I've been really, really enjoying and liking. A lot of YouTubers use this and like it, and I really think it's great if you're looking for a really decent, gentle cleanser from the drugstore that's like $5, and it has also hyaluronic acid in there. I don't think it's going to do much, the hyaluronic acid in there, but it won't hurt. You know, these things that are in lower percentages in like cleansers and stuff, you know, people are always like, oh, it has hyaluronic acid, it's going to do all these things. I mean, it's going to do a little bit, it's not going to do much, okay? And if you're dry, I think this would be really great. Or if you're really struggling with like a lot of sensitive skin or sensitized skin from like acne agents, this is a really, really great. So I'm using the Hada Labo cleanser. The thing I can tell you that's really important when you have pigmentation is to be a little more gentle with your skin and not to overdo it. So don't overly cleanse, don't overly exfoliate, don't overly tone, don't overly do things. You just want to be more gentle with your skin, because if you're struggling with a lot of pigmentation, your skin is just a little bit more sensitive. And today I'm just using a paper towel to rinse my face or dry my face off a little bit. So you can see I got a little bruise there from the Botox. Like I said, I don't usually do Botox because it makes me look queenie, honey, like woo, like real surprised, and I don't need any help with that, okay? I don't need to like somebody look like, oh, she's a drag queen, she's going on in 10 minutes. So I don't want to look too feminine. I mean, some people think I already look feminine. It doesn't really matter. I mean, everybody's gonna have an opinion of you, right? Cleanse my face, and now I'm going to actually exfoliate a little bit with my cleanser. So use whatever you have, whatever exfoliating cleanser or, you know, preferably cleanser that you have. Just nothing manual, nothing that's really abrasive unless it's very gentle. And so I just kind of put a little 2 pumps on, and my skin is a little burning because of the injection there, but this is where I'm actually struggling with the post-inflammation hyperpigmentation. I think the main reason is because I've been training my assistant, Crystal, who is just amazing. She's saving my life and helping me so much with my business and my clients, and just doing such a fantastic job. I couldn't have asked for a better person to be working with. It's unbelievable how incredible she is, and how I don't know if she knows the value. I mean, I always constantly tell her about the value that she's adding to my life and just helping me to grow my skincare business and everything, and do other things that I'm really passionate about, that I really want to be doing. I'm working one-on-one with people. It's not really the direction of where I plan to be going, so I'm working on quite a few things behind the scenes right now, but I'm also reformulating products right now to just make them always constantly better. So anyway, I am going to actually just tissue this off, and this is something you can do with this cleanser. You can rinse it off if you want to, if you had a lot of makeup, but in this case, I'm just tissuing it off. The thing about that cleanser is that it continues to work even though it's not sudsing. So I don't know if you can see there. So this is a scar that I'm always kind of dealing with, and this area, we left the treatment on a little too long, and so it started to bring up some post-inflammation hyperpigmentation. What I'm going to do now, my skin feels great. It's a little tingly from the cleanser, and I do recommend that you try to exfoliate lightly before you add your brighteners, because the reason is you want to get that top layer of skin, so the epidermal layer, what we call the horny layer, you want to get some of that skin off. Like I said, you don't want to use a manual exfoliation. I mean, you can. It just, when you rip and tear and traumatize the skin in that type of way, you're causing a lot of stimulation. So you don't want to cause too much stimulation with pigmentation. You want to just be a little bit more gentle. That's my theory anyway. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, I've used all kinds of stuff. I use brighteners with hydroquinone. I've used with lactic and hydroquinone. I also have pads that I use that have, some have 2%, some have 4%. I've used the Perfect Bleach, which I've talked about here on my channel before. And then I use consistently my vitamin C, because I don't know if you can see that, because vitamin C strengthens the skin. It helps to kind of put a little bit, think of it like putting a little bit of a protective layer on your skin, protective ozone layer on your skin that's warding off UV damage, warding off free radical damage, warding off just kind of the pollutants and the all kinds of stuff that can occur from even the heat. It's kind of like putting a little bit of a protective membrane on your skin so that it's just a little bit more able to like box off the aging and the sun rays and all those things that can hurt our skin. And also vitamin C helps to brighten the skin, strengthen the skin, helps with collagen, and also helps to prevent future discoloration. Of course, the formulation does matter. So in this case, I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drops. There's probably 6 actually, about 6 drops. And I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, a little bit more on the pigment that I'm using. Now, I rub it in. I prefer to rub vitamin C in. I think that it helps to penetrate the skin. I've had a couple people mention that that's not true, and I don't, whatever works for you. I mean, I've done, 20,000 treatments on clients, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't have much time to sit there and fluff and puff everyone every day. So I think I have enough experience to say, I've noticed that, every little minute counts in a facial. And so whatever I can do to help speed up the process, to help those people get out of the door a little quicker, really helps. And the way that I do that is continue to rub it in and allow that product to absorb for a little bit. So you put a little bit on the skin all over. I'm having a little allergies issues lately. Okay, so this is the area that it's showing post-inflammation hyperpigmentation, so I'm actually going to use a little bit more. Now, if you don't have vitamin C, then don't do this part. Get it? Not everybody has every product to use, but in this case, I'm using just a little bit more. So I really want to get it on there. So it was about another 4 drops. Now, if you're struggling with pigmentation in general, and during the summer you think you can skip some of these steps, that's up to you, but I do recommend that you're actually a little bit more consistent with your skincare during the summer, because you're using a lot more sunscreen, you're getting a lot more congestion, you're in the sun a lot more, there's a lot more UV light, the UV index is usually higher, so it's okay to use more, kind of like just be 10 steps ahead of that pigmentation if you can during the summer. That's what I've always done, that's what I tell all my clients to do, that's what I do in every treatment. In fact, I tell all my clients that you should not skip your facials during the summer. It's the most important time to get a treatment, because you're managing and maintaining the damage as it occurs instead of waiting till fall. Like, you don't just go party. It's kind of like the theory of like, you can maintain and manage your diet as much as possible and your workout regimen as much as possible during the holiday, or you can just let yourself go from October to February and then go back to the gym and kill yourself. It's really a mindset, a mind frame of how you want to handle your skin and your body and your health and everything. So I think it's best to just be really consistent and know when the time is to use more skincare and to use the right skincare for your specific type of issue. Later, I'm going to be doing a video on apply sunscreen a little differently than I've mentioned and recommended before. I've been kind of testing some new sunscreen formulations out and just testing new ways that I can make sure that I am personally making sure that I ward off post-inflammation, hyperpigmentation, and pigmentation during the summer. So I am pretty much, see how that kind of hasn't quite absorbed into the skin. Partly that's the propylene glycol. There's a lot of propylene glycol in there. And some water-based formulations of vitamin C's may absorb a little bit quicker into the skin. This is more of a lipid vitamin C, so it's a little bit more oil-based and will penetrate a little bit deeper into the skin and doesn't necessarily absorb instantly into the skin. You want to allow it to kind of absorb. So as I'm talking, it's continuing to absorb. So for a few minutes or whatever. Now, if you have a sensitivity to hydroquinone, other agents that you could use is alpha arbutin, licorice, you can use azelaic acid, you can use alpha hydroxy acid. Alpha hydroxy acid isn't talked enough about these days because it was the it product probably a decade ago or longer, and now retinol has really kind of squashed her, and now retinol is being touted as everything and everybody needs retinol, and I just don't agree with that. I mean, I think retinol is like being backed by some hardcore companies. Do I think it's important for a lot of people? Absolutely. Do I think everybody needs to be on a retinol at age 12? Absolutely not. It's become a little too much. It can definitely be preventative, but it can also cause issues because a lot of people that are too young, people that are very young, use retinol and they don't wear enough sunscreen, and they're getting a little bit more sensitized in the skin, or they're overusing it, and then they can develop discoloration and stuff. So all of this fear mongering about aging and why you need to be on all of these skincare products, I think a lot of it is just fear mongering. It's BS. And you know, less is more, and being consistent is best, and maybe using a couple things. But you know, this idea that you need also like 10 different products on your face is also BS. You do not need that many things. If you want to put that many things on your skin and you love doing that, by all means, but don't think that you're missing out, or that there's something wrong with you because you're not doing it correctly, or that you need to buy one more product because, you know, what's her name is using it and this and that. Listen, the best thing you can do is to keep it really simple, but be very consistent, and also know how to apply your skincare. It's like a good cook can cook up nothing from a kitchen, right? 3 ingredients in a kitchen, but how they chop it up, how they mix it up, what they season it with is what really matters. And the same concept is true of skincare. So don't think that you need to have your refrigerator stocked with tons of food to cook an incredible meal. If you're really good, you're creative, you can really know how to handle your skin and manage your skin and just keep it at optimal levels with less products, using them more consistently and using them a little bit differently, or with better techniques, like allowing that to push or massaging that vitamin C in and then allowing that to soak in is a technique. And that technique will allow you to get better penetration of the vitamin C. It will allow you to get just a better result from that vitamin C, so you're giving it enough time to kind of work into that skin, honey. You know, it's like this. Everybody wants to hurry, 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 hurry. And when you're spending money on these kind of products, the best thing you can do is to slow down a little bit and allow them to work. It's like everybody is asking everybody to get married on the first date. It's like, no, girl, you need to slow your ass down. You need to ask me out to dinner. You need to buy me flowers. You need to bring me chocolates. And then you ask me to marry you, you know, later, like much later, like slow baby steps. Okay. Anyway, girl, I am getting crazy today. So that has completely soaked in. I'm just drinking today my diet ginger beer, which I just love this. Have you ever tried this? It's so delicious. Sometimes when I'm living on the edge, I pour it in a glass and add like a little bit of lemon and a little bit of mint, and just, you know, because I don't drink anymore. So today I am using the Obagi Step 3, which is clear and it has 4% hydroquinone. There's also some ascorbic acid in here, which is also vitamin C. So I recommend you apply about a pea-sized amount all over to your skin. Now, a lot of people ask about if you should stop hydroquinone every 90 days, and that is kind of a hot topic. And a lot of people got a lot of different opinions about this. So, pea-sized amount all over, just rub it in. Don't forget your lip area, your nose. I do get it close to your eyes. If you're very sensitive, don't do this. I also put it right there on my eyelid, whatever's left over on my fingertips, just to see my eyelids are bright, honey. That's how I do that, is I just really, a lot of people's eyelids get dark because they rub their eyes unconsciously. They don't get sun protection. Usually they don't put sunscreen on there. And also makeups can stain your eyes. Also, the chemicals in makeup can also cause a lot of discoloring on the eyes, like staining and stuff. And that's why they use primers, and they use kind of a base or a concealer on the eye just to kind of also protect that eye area skin, because it's a little bit thinner. So I put a little bit all over, and then I'm going to, in the areas that I'm really dealing with, I put another about pea-sized amount, and I put it all over here in this area like that. And I really rub it in. I sit here and I spend some time and I really rub it in to the skin. Also got a little bit back here. And I just sit here and I rub gently and get underneath the eye like that, right here. Always in the ear and the hairline like that. You want to put it in the hairline a little bit so you get an even coat. And I use another little pea-sized amount. Okay. I get a little bit over here on my forehead. Now you might think this is a lot, but I think more people could get quicker results with skin brighteners if they just use a little bit more and they really massaged it into the skin. And also if you use that vitamin C first. Now you can also mix depending on the formulation, but usually you can mix a little vitamin C with hydroquinone. I didn't do that in this case, but sometimes I do. So I just kind of massage all over. I brush it into the hair, put it into the hairline like this. I'm gonna use a little bit more on this side. I don't have much on this side, honestly. I have it more right here, but I've gotten a lot of it off because, you know, I grew up in Hawaii without sunscreen. We used to use baby oil and iodine on our face too. So thanks, Mom. So I have fixed a lot of my skin over the years, and put it in your brow bone like that so that your area just all gets brightened. And a lot of people get discoloration, or they don't realize they're getting discoloration here. So I always recommend that you put a little bit over here, so another pea-sized amount. So the topic about using hydroquinone, do you need to go off of it for 90 days? So there's really, you know, I've read a lot of different opinions about this, and there's really, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the research more is that if in 90 days you're really not noticing a result, then it may not be the right agent for you or ingredient for you to help with your specific type of pigmentation. So that's more than anything what that kind of recommendation came from, I believe. And in general, yes, I think you should go off of hydroquinone every 90 days. One, because your skin does get memory to something, and so there's nothing wrong with backing off of anything for a little bit of time and then kind of reintroducing it to your skincare diet, so to speak. It's kind of like food, you know, you get kind of bored with stuff after a while. I think the skin gets kind of bored. It's like, girl, I can't with the hydroquinone anymore. But some people get sensitive with hydroquinone. If you overuse hydroquinone or use too much, what can happen is you can get a little bit of a haloing effect, especially when you start going up in the percentages for like 6 and 8% that's compounded for you. So do be careful. Hydroquinone is one of those agents that I've noticed. It causes like a kind of like a bluish type of pigmentation that it can occur, especially on darker skin types. So if you have darker skin, black skin, I would recommend that you probably start with like a 2% and see if that works for you for a while, and with some vitamin C instead of maybe doing the 4 and building your way up to a 4 later. Like everybody wants 4%, everybody wants this percentage high. It's not always about the percentage. You could use the 2% twice a day and still get a beautiful result. So that is completely absorbed into my skin. Now, because I'm dealing with the post-inflammation hyperpigmentation from that treatment I had that was left on a little bit too long, was a vitamin C enzyme, you know, treatment that also has salicylic acid in there. I noticed salicylic acid, you have to be careful if you're really sensitive to pigmentation. I've noticed on some people it can cause some issues. Not everyone, just like benzoyl peroxide can also cause pigmentation. It makes you a little bit more sensitive to the skin, especially if your skin is black. Now I'm gonna put another pea-sized amount, maybe a little bit more, and I'm just going to rub this in to my skin in the area that is getting post-inflammation hyperpigmentation, just to really kind of soak it. And now I'm going to actually kind of leave it on like that. See how it's kind of like really wet and kind of thicker, like a little bit of a mask. That's how now I'm gonna leave it on, so that it's really soaking into that area. I'm gonna put a little bit more up here. So this is how I put it on when I'm really struggling with something, or when I'm really trying to maintain my pigmentation issues or dealing with post-inflammation hyperpigmentation. Originally, this post-inflammation came from just being too aggressive. You know, that's why I always tell people, slow down, because, you know, like I'm always the person that tests everything on myself, and back in the day, we were trained, you know, hardcore peels and peeling people and doing very aggressive, and I still do aggressive peels, but I manipulate the skin. I do a lot to the skin before I just do an aggressive peel, and I don't necessarily do a very high percentage of acid anymore, because I've layered and I've done so many things to season the skin so that they're having less of a chance of that post-inflammation hyperpigmentation. But in this case, I also was in the sun the week before a little bit. Even though I have sunscreen on, you know, we do get UV light still that penetrates through our sunscreen. It doesn't block every particle of UV light. So I think that was just an issue that I had, and that's why the post-inflammation kind of came back. So anyway, so hopefully this video helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them below this video. But, you know, I'm gonna leave you with this. if you're struggling with pigmentation issues, please just be patient. It's something, you know, that doesn't pop up just overnight. It's in the skin. It takes a while to get there. It takes a while to get to the surface of the skin. And also just make sure that you're not overly aggressive with any type of skincare that is very acidic, like chemical peels or a lot of acids. Don't overly use it to try to get a result. Do as best as you can, but go slow and kind of build up a tolerance. If you build up a tolerance with your skin, it will be more friendly, and you will also keep that protective membrane of your skin, what we call the acid mantle, just a lot more optimized. And when it's optimized at optimal levels, what happens is it's able to kind of protect you, and it's able to release all the oils and the acidity on the skin, just so those things kind of don't happen as much. So that is just something I think that more people could really get a more sustainable result with their skincare in general if they were, one, just more on top of it and a little bit less overzealous with products. I can't tell you how many emails I get from people saying, I did a chemical peel and my skin is now got dark marks all over it. Is that normal? No, it's not normal, okay? So if you've got dark skin, or if you're trying to lighten pigmentation at home with a chemical peel, girl, be careful, okay? Use a little bit of acid first, work your way up. I know you want it gone overnight, but come on. Be realistic. What in life is gone overnight? And any kind of marketing BS that's out there that's saying it's going to work in 2 minutes, going to work in 1 minute, it's going to work a miracle overnight. Walk away, put your credit card away, walk away, especially from those places that are like at the mall and the little cubicles. I've done skincare like that, girl, and they only care about selling you something you don't need that's not going to really work. Those things in those little cubicles often don't work, and anything that's like $300 that's being sold out of a kiosk, girl, run real quick, okay? Save your money and go buy a latte and like something from anywhere else, okay? All right, guys, I hope that you found this video not too scattered and not too all over the place, but you don't always need to laser. Everybody's doing lasering, and I think people are overly zealous with lasers too. Lasering is not the only option for you, okay? I recommend that you try to lighten and brighten it as much as you can for 90 days to 6 months at home first. Then you do whatever else you do that's very aggressive, like a laser treatment. Even chemical peels. The clients that get life-changing results have used brighteners, and I put them on a regimen first a little bit before they do something. Anyway, I love you guys so much. If you love this info, please subscribe, and I will see you very soon in a new video. Bye-bye.